Okay, let's talk about something really important, healing. And I don't mean the version you see in movies, the one that's all neat and tidy. I'm talking about the real, kind of messy, human journey. We're going to dive into a simple story that I think really gets to the heart of why healing isn't a straight line and why that's not just okay, it's completely normal.
So let me ask you something, and I'm guessing this might hit home for a few of you. Have you ever felt like you were finally getting better, making real progress, and then boom, out of nowhere, it feels like you've been knocked right back to square one? It's such a common feeling, and man, it can be so disheartening, right?
You know, that feeling? It usually comes from this one big misunderstanding. It's this expectation we all seem to have about how progress is supposed to work. I like to call it the straight line myth. Yeah, in our heads, we picture our healing journey as this perfect, upward climb, a straight shot to feeling better. But the reality? Oh, it's so much more, well, human. It's this winding, looping path full of detours and moments where we find ourselves right back in a familiar place. And to really get what this means, let's walk through a little story together. It's one that might feel surprisingly familiar. It's really a story about finding that glimmer of hope, thinking you've lost it, and then finding it again where you least expect it. So our story starts with a person who's just been through a really heavy season. You know the kind I'm talking about, where just getting through the day feels like a huge effort and everything is just heavy.
But then, one morning, something shifted. They woke up and things just felt different, lighter. It's like they could finally take a full, deep breath again without that weight on their chest. Hope was starting to creep back in.
And for a while, things were really good. That feeling just kept growing. They were laughing more, enjoying the little things again. They felt like they were finally getting back to their old self. They honestly thought, I'm healed, I'm done.
But this is the part of the journey that can feel like such a gut punch, the moment that old, familiar heaviness decides to show up again.
And just like that, bam, out of what felt like nowhere, that weight was back. Maybe it wasn't quite as heavy as before, but it was definitely heavy enough to make their stomach drop. And this is where that inner voice starts screaming, right? Why is this happening again? I thought I was over this. I thought I was fixed. It's that awful mix of frustration and self-doubt, feeling like all that hard work just vanished.
So they looked at this setback and didn't see it as a bump in the road. Nope, they saw it as a complete and total failure. In their mind, they were right back at the starting line.
But hold on, because this is where the story completely changes. This is the aha moment, the moment of clarity that flips the whole script and leads to this much deeper understanding of what's really going on.
So, then, something kind of amazing happened. They had this chance encounter with a stranger. Just a brief conversation, but this person said something so simple, and yet it changed everything. And this is what they said. Healing is not a straight path. You don't go backwards, you just go deeper. Wow. Just let that one sit with you for a second. It's not about going back, it's about going deeper. And suddenly, it all clicked. They weren't failing. They weren't starting from scratch. They were actually ready to work through another layer of whatever they were dealing with, a layer they weren't strong enough to even see before, but they were now. And that right there brings us to the whole point of this. Healing moves in circles, not straight lines. So what does that actually mean for us? Well, circular healing is basically this idea that we revisit old feelings and old wounds. But, and this is the most important part, you're not the same person you were the last time you were here. You're coming back with new tools, new strength, new perspective. You're strong enough now to see it differently. So, if any of this is hitting home for you, I really want you to hear this. You are not failing. You are not starting from zero. And you are definitely not broken. There's no deadline on healing, okay? It's not a race and it's not a test you have to ace. It's just a journey. Okay, as we start to wrap this up, let's just bring it all back to you, right here in this moment. I want you to know that your path, with all its twists and turns, is completely and totally valid. And before we finish, I'd love for us to just take one slow, mindful breath together. It's such a simple way to just anchor ourselves in the present. So whenever you're ready, let's take a slow breath in through the nose and a long, gentle breath out through the mouth. And I just want to leave you with this one last thought. It's something you can hold on to and say to yourself whenever you need to hear it, I'm healing, even when it doesn't look perfect, because it's true. You absolutely are. Thanks for spending this time with me.